The Unabomber. The case of the Unabomber is one of the most famous and disturbing true crime stories in modern American history. The man behind the attacks, Ted Kaczynski, carried out a long and carefully planned bombing campaign that lasted nearly 2 decades. His actions shocked the public and raised serious questions about technology, society, and the nature of violence. Ted Kaczynski was born in 1942 in Chicago, USA. From a young age, he showed exceptional intelligence. He was a gifted student and entered Harvard University at just 16 years old. Later, he earned a PhD in mathematics from the University of Michigan and became a professor at the University of California, Berkeley. However, despite his academic success, Kaczynski struggled with social relationships and eventually withdrew from society. In 1971, Kaczynski made a drastic decision. He left his academic career and moved to a remote cabin in the wilderness of Montana. There, he lived without electricity or running water. He wanted to escape what he saw as the negative effects of modern technology and industrial society. Over time, his ideas became more extreme, and he began to believe that violence was necessary to bring attention to his beliefs. Between 1978 and 1995, Kaczynski carried out a series of bombings across the United States. He targeted universities, airlines, and individuals connected to technology and modern industry. This is where the nickname, Unabomber, comes from. It stands for University and Airline Bomber. His homemade bombs were carefully constructed and often disguised as ordinary packages. As a result, many victims had no warning before the devices exploded. During his campaign, Kaczynski killed 3 people and injured 23 others. The attacks created widespread fear, especially among academics and professionals. Law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, launched one of the largest investigations in U.S. history to find him. However, Kaczynski was extremely careful, leaving very little evidence behind. For many years, his identity remained a mystery. In 1995, Kaczynski made an unusual demand. He promised to stop the bombings if a major newspaper published his manifesto, a long essay explaining his beliefs. The manifesto, titled Industrial Society and Its Future, criticized modern technology and argued that it was destroying human freedom and the environment. After careful consideration, the authorities agreed to publish it in hopes that someone might recognize the writing style. This decision led to a breakthrough. Kaczynski's brother, David, read the manifesto and noticed similarities to letters Ted had written in the past. Although it was a difficult choice, he contacted the FBI and shared his concerns. Using this information, investigators were able to identify and locate Ted Kaczynski. In 1996, the FBI arrested Kaczynski at his cabin in Montana. Inside, they found bomb-making materials, detailed notes about his crimes, and a copy of the manifesto. In 1998, he pleaded guilty to multiple charges and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The Unabomber case remains a powerful example of how intelligence and isolation can combine in dangerous ways. It also shows the importance of careful investigation and the role that ordinary people, like Kaczynski's brother, can play in solving crimes. Today, the story continues to be studied and discussed, not only as a criminal case but also as a warning about the potential consequences of extreme beliefs and disconnection from society.
In my opinion, violent criminals should not be given a platform to share their ideas publicly. While freedom of speech is important, there must be limits when ideas can harm others. For example, if a criminal promotes violence or extreme beliefs, it could influence vulnerable people and lead to further crimes. On the other hand, some people argue that publishing such ideas can help authorities understand criminal behavior. In certain cases, this may be true. However, this benefit must be carefully balanced against the potential risks to society. The Unabomber case shows that publishing a manifesto can help catch a criminal, but it also spreads dangerous ideas. For this reason, I believe that such decisions should only be made in exceptional situations and under strict control. Overall, public safety should always come before giving criminals a voice.
Thank you so much for watching today's video. I really hope it helped you practice your English and learn something new. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next lesson. I'd also love to hear from you, so share your thoughts in the comments below. Your support means a lot and helps this channel grow. See you again in the next video.